I put $250,000 into the stock. I couldn't sleep. Every time I go to sleep, I wake up, I'm like, am I going to miss out another Amazon opportunity here?
I've never met anyone who couldn't sleep because they didn't have enough Tesla shares.
The stuff that Tesla can do, most of the Max 7 people, including myself, cannot do. Will not be able to do. But if I really stay just for the EV business, I 10x, 20x already. I should have leave this stock and move on to something else. But I don't. Why? Because the crew, the team within Tesla is the gold mine. It's 8,200. If I say output, every single robot that they make will be sold. That's my thesis. The most important is, while the share is still cheap, while everybody's still, trying to figure out if this is real or not, the most important thing is get enough share.
Joseph, thank you for coming on the channel. I'm actually very excited to have you on. And for you guys who are watching this, the reason why I got 60,000 up here, it's because Joseph has almost or more than 60,000 shares. And here's the crazy part. He's still buying shares. And it's just incredible because if I had 60,000 shares, I would just, relax and stop and, just enjoy my life. But buying more shares, that is incredible. So I have Joseph here. He's going to tell us his awesome story of how he got into Tesla. And it's a very unique story. And I want everyone to know about it because it's absolutely awesome. He'll be telling us on why he's continuing to buy. I have been following Joseph for some time on X as well. I think when I first started on X 2-3 years ago, he was the top 20 people that I followed. That should tell you some stuff because I only follow specific people on X that helps with content creation or Tesla news or all that kind of stuff. But I'm a follower. I recommend you guys to follow him too. There's a link in the description for his YouTube and X as well. So thank you, Joseph, for coming on. Thank you so much. How you doing?
Doing great. Thank you for interviewing me today. It's my first interview, so it's my virgin interview.
Sheesh. No, it's fun. It's fun. We just talk about the story. We talk about the Tesla, your 2030 price targets, if you have one. That your long-term vision, because you nailed it, man. You nailed it with this Tesla investment. So let's just get down with your story. How did you get into Tesla? How did it all start? Um, Take it away.
All right. First of all, nothing I say is financial advice. I always say that. You must do your own research, understand your comfort level when it comes to investing. A little bit background about myself. Initially, when I go to college, I studied architecture. It wasn't computer science, it's architecture because I love art and I love architecture. But I realized it's really too expensive for me because you involve a lot of field trips and you have to go to different country and experience the architecture. I'm like, I'm not that rich at that time. I don't feel like I can afford that. So as a result, I changed to computer science. That is around year 2000. So you know that this is before the bubble, the tech bubble. So computer science is a good major to get in. I was able to secure a high-paying job, so that helps. I also have read a lot of investment-related books, and as a result of that, I learned that having a high saving rate is very important. So I save 50% at least. At most, I save up to 70% from my paycheck.
Wow.
I also bought a house at that time. It's not just a financial reason because I believe it's a peace of mind to have, not having rent keep on, creeping up on you over time. So to me, a peace of mind is important. I also invest and focus on this investment approach is gradually leaning toward finding 10x potential company. So I'll tell you more about it later. And I keep adding share whenever I can because of my mentality. Um, I don't I don't try to time the market too. It's really hard to time the market. So I keep adding share.
Okay. Wow. So question here. So
Yep.
how you were saving 70%, but then you still got a house.
Yes.
What area was this?
Around 99 to early 2000. In 1999, I got my first job. So I was an intern. When you become a computer science student, it's really easy to get a internship. So internship that pays money, to me, that's the most important thing. because I have no income, right? So my parents basically give me $2,000 and send you on your merit way to go to college, and you have to figure out your life. So with $2,000, I have to figure out how to live my life, right? So that means having a job that pay well, and then I use that money. I keep saving it and come up with a down payment and bought my first house in year 2002. So I saved 3 years worth of money, and I have my down payment. At that point, I really have no investment except maybe like
Wow.
401k.
Well, and this was in California, if I'm not mistaken.
San Diego, yeah, kind of.
San Diego. Wow, that's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. How did you manage to save 50 to 70%? Today, it seems to be impossible to do that.
Yeah, I live in Point Loma, which is like a local community with my rent being $325 per month. So I basically rice and beans, living a very low, below the means kind of lifestyle, and then I basically save the rest of the money to buy a house. That's my goal.
Wow, that sounds like a typical Tesla investor today. Ramen noodles and one bedroom, just being frugal, just buying as many Tesla shares as possible. At least that's what I know. I don't know if you guys are doing this, but I know I eat a lot of ramen to keep the expenses low so I can
I
invest
know
as much as I could.
when I was in high school, I was able to live with $100 per month. So to me, anything over $100 a month is a lifestyle already. It's okay.
That's crazy. Wow.
I know. So to
Wow.
continue, basically, like I read a lot of books. I learned how to live below my means. Don't buy expensive things. Don't go to party. Don't waste money on drinking and all that stuff. And focus on compounding, focusing on accumulating appreciating asset, not depreciating asset, and then be patient and be steadfast. So that's my approach.
That's a very good approach. That's a very good approach. And these days, I feel like it's much harder to do that these days than what it was back in the day. Because I remember my dad would, well, we're based here in Kuwait, but my dad would just work one job, and that's it. He would, the mom could stay at home, and he could afford a house and that. But in today's world, I mean, in the States, it's similar, but not as bad as Canada, because I'm from Toronto. And oh man, in Toronto, even if you're working 2 jobs, 3 jobs, you can't. It's difficult.
Yeah,
So, and I know a lot of like our little community, our little Tesla community, it's all about being frugal and buying um as many Tesla shares as possible and not doing anything fancy because we know the opportunity of this and just being financially literate. And that's why I love the community because it's just a lot of smart people like yourself.
I completely agree with you. Basically, I realized early on in life that working a 9 to 5 job and until age 65 is not the lifestyle I'm looking forward to. So I try to find a way to get off the hamster wheel. Basically, that's the reason why I invest to begin with. I don't want to work for someone else. I don't mind to work, but I want to work for my own objectives, right? So the goal is how to save enough money so that money will work for me, so that I don't have to work for other people against my will. That's my
Yeah.
whole incentive.
Yeah, and that's a very good mindset, extremely good mindset. And I can see a lot of young guys thinking that way too, starting to think that way, at least in our little bubble of of the community, thinking that way that hey man, I don't want to when we're not 50, 60, I don't want to continue working 9 to 5. I'd retire at 60. I don't retire at 60. I want to retire at 30. Like what are you talking about, So yeah, that's extremely important. Now, before we get into this Tesla stuff, but was Tesla your only investment? I don't think it was, but did you invest in other stocks before Tesla or going all in Tesla?
Yeah, so I have invested quite a lot of company. I actually put together a list of a little bit history on what I invest in. So I first invest in, let's go back just a little bit on what leads me to invest in those companies. So that's the why is more important. So there's three books I read, and mainly is the Millionaire Next Door, which is a really important
Mm,
book to put my
yes,
mindset.
I
You
have
heard
that
about
book
the book?
too. Yeah, I have
Uh,
that. Yeah, I have it. Really good book.
Yep, statistically driven, based on data, how millionaire behave and how they approach life, right? And then one up on Wall Street is another one, helps me to pick company, not to pick just company, but sustainable company, successful for long term. And then the third book is really interesting. It's called The Little Book That Beats the Market by Joe Greenblatt,
Hmm. Okay.
aka The Magic Formula Investing. So if you look into this book, basically it teach me how to use financial data to pick company. So I use that book as a stock screener to screen out company that I want to look further into, right? So instead of looking at all 5,000 stock, I can use the magic formula way to pick maybe like 30 companies. So I can deep dive into that 30 company and see if I can filter out more and focus on even less number of company. So that's the way I approach it. And
Yeah.
then there's one more, by the way, there's one more. Sorry to
Yes.
interrupt you.
No, no,
There's
no. Yeah, yeah.
there's one thing called Value Line Investment Survey. Value Line Investment Survey is a survey you can purchase or you can subscribe to now with like hundreds of dollars per month you can subscribe to, and it provide you all the company's financial data going back for years, right? So from the book I read from Warren Buffett, he mentioned that you can read this Value Line Investment Survey from the public library. But they don't just have it on the shelf. You have to talk to the librarian and say, hey, I want to borrow this one. But you can only read that over there in the library. So I would take out the Value Line Investment Survey back in the day. There's not much internet going on. You go there and read all the financial data, you capture it, jot it down. And that's how I look for company, using that Value Line Investment Survey. Old people will know about it.
No, that's interesting. One book that I would recommend. All the three books you mentioned, they're really good books, and they will really help in financial literacy. But one book that I would want to, if there's any beginner that I want investors to read the book, it's called Common Sense Investing. It's a little
I've
small
read
red
that.
book. That
Yeah,
is such a powerful book, and it really will get you through the door. Oh
yeah,
man, that's a really good book. But combine that with all the books that you mentioned, I think it'll shape you up
yeah,
on the right path to go forward
yeah.
to the right path and to invest.
Ultimately, it's not about the how or what you invest in. It's the why, because the why will keep your conviction high. If you understand the company you actually invest in, your conviction is high. You're not thinking in terms of share price. You're thinking in terms of share count, right? How many shares I have in this company? How big of a slice of the pie I have in this company? That's the focus, right? Cheaper price
S-
simply means I can get more share. So it's really how you shape your mentality by thinking differently.
Yeah, absolutely. Once you know what you're investing in and you have very strong conviction, your favorite days become red days.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
you just buy more shares at the cheap, and you will only understand this if you know exactly what you're investing in. A lot of
Mhm.
people, especially now when Tesla went up to the all-time highs of 480, which I still can't believe we hit an all-time high in 2024. I'm surprised people are still losing money on Tesla because they bought high and they sold low. They invested with their emotions. They
Emotion.
FOMO'd in. And these are the type of people that will never be successful in investing. These are the type of people that will always lose because they know Tesla, how they know the company, but they're not willing to be in it for the long term. And with a company like Tesla, you have to be in it for the long term if you want good and good
Yep.
great returns. And history says it many, many times. And but when we look at the company today and what they're building and what they're creating, it is the right way of saying it because they're making industries. You can see where the company could be in 5, 10 years. But again, out of our little Tesla community bubble, most people don't think 5, 10 years. They want it now. They want it like 10x tomorrow, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah. As
But
as crazy as
yeah.
it sounds, our investment strategy really changed over time. It's not the way it is. It evolved over time. For example, when I first investing, um, I'm just trying to not losing money, right? That's the book teaching. Try not to lose money. Rule number one: don't lose money. So I follow this guy, Jeb Bogle. He's the founder of Vanguard. If you heard about this term called Bogle hat, it's a way of investing three funds portfolio, right? You have 33% in US index, you have 33% in non-US stock, and you have 33% in bonds, right? That's my approach. I follow that kind of religiously. While I have other company already invested, like I have Pepsi, I have FPL, I have MPL. I'll talk about all those. While I have
Mm.
individual company, I'm gradually the new money I'm putting into the free fund portfolio. It's stable, it's safe, it doesn't really grow tremendously, but it get me to the point where I was able to accumulate over $2 million with individual stock and index. $2 million. Um, Sounds great, but if you look at the data, my individual stock performance is so much better than the index, then it makes me think about my investment philosophy. And then whenever I think about that, I always refer to this guy, Mark Rothko, who is a painter. Like, Pejjy, what the hell are you talking about? You talk about painter versus investing? What are you talking about, Joseph? Okay, I'll get back to the topic. Trust me. So Mark Rothko is a painter, is an expressionist painter from 1903 to 1970. He eventually killed himself. Blah blah blah. Not the focus of the story. What happened is in his early day when he do his painting, um, he tried to express stuff into like, he draw a lot of detail, character, and graphics to try to express what he tried to express, right? But gradually over time, he become a less small person, less subject, less object, and become more color and feeling focused. Similar to investing. The more you learn, the more you shape your own style, it become clear and clear to your intention. And in his case, it's become just color and form. There's no other expression. So I think investment is also a form of art. It's not just math and statistics. If it's math and statistics only, then there's no way I can make millions. It will be the teacher and the statistician who are the billionaire, right? There's no other people who can win in this case. But it's not about math. Not just about math. It's about emotion. It's about sentiment. It's about market condition. It's about intuition, right? So all this stuff is how it shaped me into the investor I am today. We must think in terms of a owner of a company rather than people buying share. Like we are owner of the company. That is so important. I always say to my friends, if you want to beat the index, it's really easy. You just buy the whole index and then you subtract Nikola Motor. That's it. Or you subtract GM. That's how you beat the index, right? If you really enhance this thinking all the way, it simply means subtracting bad stuff in your philosophy, right? Nail down all the things that you should not be doing. Then it becomes your core essence of what you really want. Does it make sense?
Yeah, no, these are some good stuff. These are some good, especially when we have new investors on the channel and trying to figure out ways to hold on to their conviction and to their investments. These are really good tips. These are absolutely really good tips. This is nice.
So
This is nice.
there's some lesson I learned along the way, which is like really shaping my investment philosophy and approach. Charlie Munger once said, "If it isn't perfectly obvious, it's not going to work." To the point where you have to do a DCF calculation, you tend to move on to the next idea, right? Uh, at the beginning of my investment, I always do very deep analysis, spreadsheet, the whole nine yard, prices, estimate, everything. But then after a long time, I realized if the number comes so close for me to figure out it's worth investing in, it's probably not a good idea already. So it actually makes sense. Even Warren Buffett said, I'm not doing DCF myself because if it doesn't scream a huge margin of safety, I'm not even going to touch it. And this is how we get to Tesla. The huge TAM is why I'm here, right? The huge TAM, a business that already have a positive cash flow, a business that's not going to die because they run out of cash, but with so many options, it's almost like margin of safety is so high. You have FSD, you have the robot, you have AGI robot. Like,
Yeah.
why the hell are we invest something else? I don't understand.
Yeah. So before we get into deep into the Tesla, tell us
Yeah.
your story. How did you get into it? How did you first, get
Okay.
into Tesla? Because this, I mean, I've heard your story on X Spaces, but man, this is one of the coolest story that I've heard. The most unique
Okay.
story that I heard that everybody must know.
So true story. I'm not. I don't lie. That's my number one thing. I'm being transparent and being truthful. When I first look into Tesla, my goal is to try to short that company. I because
Oh, God.
they come up with the Roadster 1.0, right? And then they're gonna push for Model S. I don't think they can make it through the Model S RAM. The car is so expensive. They have a lot of issue. The company is burning cash at a very high rate. I don't think they have enough cash to survive. That's my number one thesis. So I start investing in the company and see, you know, how is it doing. So I never really touch it, never really short it because I just want to keep monitor the company and see my thesis is correct. The more I investigate and research the company, the more I get into the oh my goodness, if they make Model 3 RAM, this is gonna be a game changer. But they have to make the Model 3 RAM successfully, right? The Model 3 RAM is 2018, right? I have not invested in a single dime until 2019.
Wow.
So
That's perfect time.
whoever invests before 2018 are the OG. They get the winner. They're the real
Yeah,
people with high conviction, high risk tolerance. I wasn't
I
one of
agree.
those. I wasn't one of those.
But
I have to invest only after 2018 when the RAM is successful.
but 2019 was like the perfect time before the launch as well.
Yes. Yeah. So in retrospect, I also tell myself I must invest in 2019 before Q3 earning because I believe Q3 is a time when we may see some surprise. Intuition tells me like, yeah, you better invest before Q3 earning. So
Nice.
I put $250,000 into the stock, and then I told you about it. I couldn't sleep. Every time I go to sleep, I wake up. I'm like, am I going to miss out another Amazon opportunity here? Because 250, if I 10x, is 2.5. You know, okay, okay, sleep on it. Okay, and then the next few days, I put up to $500,000, 500,000, and then I still cannot sleep, right? So my significant other is asking me like, what's going on? Like I never seen you like this. And then I tell her about the story, and then she say, why don't you put $1 million? I'm like, what? I'm not gonna put $1 million into this. But then she said, and then we just start talking about it, and eventually I really put up to 979,000, which is close to a mil, into the company, and I don't expect it to 10x until 2030. So my thesis is, worst case, I'm gonna lose 50% because after 50%, okay, back up a little bit. At that time, the market cap is $46 million, $46 billion. If it 10x, about 460 billion to 500 billion, totally sensible in 10 years' time. So my downside is the company lose 50% of the market cap. At some point, Apple or Microsoft or Google will buy them. 20 billion, who cares? They will buy it. So like, I'm not worried about the company going completely bankrupt because they're the
Yeah,
core technology. But then the
right.
upside is 10x, right?
Mm.
$10 million versus losing half a million is a no-brainer to me. So that's why I can sleep so well at night knowing that it's doing
Yeah.
well. It will do well.
No, it's crazy to me that I've never met anyone who couldn't sleep because they didn't have enough Tesla shares. I mean, everyone that I talked to, they're all just like, man, especially in 2020 when the stock was going down from 400 to 100. I had a lot of people that couldn't sleep at night because they're just like, I can't believe the the company lost 80% of its value. But in your case, you couldn't sleep because you didn't have enough. And I'm just like, that is just absolutely unique.
Peggy, that's because from my past experience, I have lost so many opportunity to grow
Mm,
my portfolio significantly.
yes.
I miss Amazon, just like Warren Reddick. He missed Amazon. I also miss Amazon. I also miss IPO for Google. I also miss many companies, just too many. So this time around, when I see I have the same conviction, I don't want to bet small. That comes to one of the tips. If you have conviction, bet big. That's how I do it. Yeah,
So right now you're sitting at what, around like 60,000 shares and you're still buying.
I'm still buying. Yep.
That's incredible. Like
Well, the
that's
reason is I am also just recently retired about 4 months ago. So I need some money to live off of. I will be selling some share in my brokerage account. At the same time, I want to add some more share back in my retirement account. So kind of we replenish the share, right?
Yeah.
You lose some here, you gain some back. So you're always around 60,000 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Now, the one thing that Joseph and I have in common is that we both make our share count public for the on X, and well, I do mine on YouTube as well. I believe Joseph too. I have almost 1,100 shares, and I'm buying whenever I can. But that's crazy that you're still buying even with 60,000. That's some strong conviction. That tells me, I mean, that makes me as a Tesla investor very confident that we know the company's going to grow immensely, but knowing the fact that someone like you is continuing to buy Tesla, even with the high amount of shares that you have, it just gives me even, a much stronger conviction, gives me more comfort that it's just like you see the company can maybe, well, not maybe 5, 6, maybe even 10x again down the line. So
Anyway,
that's the energy that I get from that. So it's
yes. While you're talking, I also ask myself why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? Because of two things. Two things. If I have money, where should I deploy it? I can't find a better company or better value or better safety margin than Tesla, right? That's number one issue. Number two is Tesla in itself is already diversified within the company. There's so many business things that I know have a huge TAM, a total addressable market. So it's already diversified. So why am I diversifying into for the sake of diversifying? I'm just not trying to deploy cash in the most with the highest return on investment, but the lowest risk. To me, Tesla is still the one. So,
yes, yes. It's still the best in my, well, I guess in our opinions now, the best risk adjusted stock out there today, even today. And a lot of people tell me that, hey, Pejjy, why are you all in on this one stock? Because well, I was 100%. Now I'm at 99.8% because I bought HIMS a little bit because they're a 5 billion market cap. I think they could 10x very easily. And I'm just like, I think I can get away with that with just, getting like 70 shares or something. But other than that, it's nothing but Tesla. And they all ask me, they all be like, Pejjy, going all in on one stock, it's, you should diversify. And I'm just like, listen, if you want to talk about diversification, let's talk about Tesla. And I would ask them, in your view, in your mind, what do you think Tesla is? And they go like, yeah, it's that car company. I'm like, that's your first mistake because they are not that car company. And they're just like, well, what is it? I'm like, and I list out all the topics: energy, robots, FSD, AI, tech, flipping insurance, of course, autos. And they all sit there and they all were like, wow, I didn't know that. Or, they get amused, or some don't even believe me, that they go like, no, they sell cars. That's all they do. We don't see anything else. We don't see the robots. And I'm just like, that's your
mm,
problem. But when you look at it as an investor in the future, it is a very well diversified and very positioned very well for the future.
mhm,
And then when you see like, CEO was coming out like Jensen, and the former CEO of Uber, and the CEO of Google, and who is the other guy? GM saying, praising Elon and Tesla of the way how they're solving FSD was the correct way. And there was another individual too that came out and said Tesla is on the right path, but I can't think of him right now. But they're all coming out and they're calling Tesla the leader,
mhm,
number one. What's mind-boggling to me is this recently with what the CEO of Google said, or the CEO of Waymo, saying that Tesla is the leader of robotaxi without having one robotaxi on their own. And I'm just like, that's the biggest signal right there. I mean, that should tell everybody that. But still, we still have this mindset that Tesla's still a car company. And
yeah.
yada
So basically,
yada.
I'm by trade, I'm a CS software engineer major. I work for one or two company in the Mac 7. I don't want to name it because people still know me there. But the reason I picked Tesla is because the company structure. And I come to your interview mainly because I want to make the point in the following manner. The stuff that Tesla can do, most of the Mac 7 people, including myself, cannot do, will not be able to do because of company structure. Elon is the founder. He run the company, right? The company we used to work for, the Mac 7, they are not run by the CEO anymore. They run by a higher CEO, high pay employee, basically. They cannot make life or death situation for the company without the board approval. But Elon, if when he sees something that is right, something needs to be done, he will make that call. Even though it's tough, even though it may put all the chips in the game and he may lose it all, but it's the right move. He has the courage to do it. He can back it up. Other tech company, not so much. They worry about the stock option. They worry about who's going to steal my job if I put on too much risk. I may get kicked out as a CEO and somebody can take my job. So why am I risking my job, right? Their job is to stay employed as a CEO until they retire. And that's the whole purpose. Tesla is working on a different level. They're there to change the world. They relentlessly trying to use technology to enhance everything around them. So to me, Tesla is a technology company, not just energy, not just car or robot. They're energy company. They're technology company. They use technology to make the pie bigger, grow the pie. So it can manifest in car or robot, whatever it is. I invest in Tesla because of the EV business. But if I really stay just for the EV business, I 10x, 20x already. I should have leave this stock and move on to something else. But I don't. But I don't. Why? Because the crew, the team within Tesla is the gold mine. They can build robot, or they can build car, or they can build like Megapack, or they can build whatever. They can build spaceship to Mars. God knows. But the point is, the crew with the right mission, the right attitude, the high level of intelligence and technical capability, that's what we're investing in. The human power that they have as a collective self. So to me, that's why I invest in. I want to buy the time of the best people on earth. I don't want to buy another company with a different objective. It's all about their own stock option or the job, all that bullshit, right? We want to buy into a company with the right mission and ability to execute. And Tesla is only one publicly traded to me.
Yeah, no, I agree. I 100% agree. I love the fact that you said that if you were invested in Tesla for the cars, you should have left a long time ago. And right now, if you're invested in Tesla, right now, it's for autonomy. And then in the next 4 or 5 years, it'll be for the bots.
Mhm.
That's how I see it. And the reason why I went all in 2020 was because of robotaxis. I didn't really care much about the cars. Of course, the car is the tool to get to that robotaxi. But I didn't even know energy was a thing in 2020. No one even knew the ball was a thing. So I just went purely on autonomous robotaxis on that. And when I
Mhm.
sat down and I did the model, and it's still true till today. Like, that's crazy that my model that I did in 2020, it's still true today, that I do think that once they do scale the robo taxis, including the cyber cabs and the Model 3, Model Ys, let's say by end of the decade, I can see the company being worth somewhere in the 10 trillions. Like,
Yep.
it sounds crazy, the stock price of over 3,000 bucks per share, but then when you sit down and do the numbers, it's crazy. And now you have the bot on top of that, which is just can bring it even higher. I had an economist on my channel, well, twice now. He's saying that the stock can be upwards of 10,000 per share by 2030. And I'm just like, "Okay, it's crazy." But
No,
is
it's
it
not
crazy?
crazy.
I don't
It's not
know.
crazy. My real number without any filtering or any like try to calm it down is 8,200. But if I say out publicly, people say you ridiculous, you're crazy. Okay, I tone it down. Let's cut it in half, 4,000. So that's my base number, 4,000. But to me, if I really like using my without filter, my number is 82. But okay, it's not,
For 2030.
yeah, 2030 to 2031, around 8,200.
Wow.
But I'll tone it down. I say half the time I'm wrong, let's cut it down 50%. That's still
40.
$4,000. So panic
Wow.
from here,
Jeez.
you know?
It's mind-boggling, but it's crazy because we're not that far off, really. I'm saying 3,200 around there. You're saying 4,000. So it's like, and many are saying, I mean, Kathy Woods is saying 2,600 by 2029, if I'm not mistaken, and she's been pretty right with Tesla estimations. With others, not so well. But with Tesla, she's been spot on, and that's all heavily relying on robotaxi. And I do see that. I do see robotaxi coming in scale, disrupting Waymo, disrupting Uber. I just don't see how Uber's going to survive if they don't become an unofficial subsidy of Tesla.
And there's so much to the robot story, Pejjy, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. Um, We all talk about the robot, right? Tesla is not going to be capped by how many they can sell. They're going to be capped by how many they can make, right? Every single robot that they make will be sold. That's my thesis. It will be sold because the demand is so high. As long as it can do the basic task, boring tasks or dangerous tasks, basic stuff, the robot will sell. So the question is how many they can make. And based on that number, you can calculate the future value pretty easily. But my argument to them is you don't know technology. Here's what I'm talking about. Imagine if Tesla create a Optimus compliant API or Tesla Optimus compliant appliances, meaning Tesla defined the dimension and the spec for the dishwasher, and then dishwasher will be pre-trained by Optimus in the Tesla company before they launch the dishwasher. So by the time you buy that dishwasher, install in your home, Optimus already know how to load it, unload it because it's already been trained. Just by knowing all that dimension of one specific appliance, that's another revenue Tesla can do, which is like selling a Optimus compliant appliance. Same thing for the washer and dryer. You don't need to train the Optimus robot for 50 different washer. You just need to train it one, which is even you can optimize the washer to be very Optimus friendly, so you can always load and unload in the same way, and then sell that washer. Who wouldn't buy it, right? The robot can do it right away. I mean, there's so many appliances that Tesla can just do and identify and the spec and the API so that it can launch the product way beforehand. They don't have to take care of 5,000 different use cases out there. They just have to take care of my 20 low and unload dishwasher, low and unload washer, and then the door and all that. It can be all specified.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Since we're on the topic of the bot, I do believe that eventually we will have the robots in the like at home. You can have them at
Mhm,
home. But I think this will take some time before that can
mhm,
happen. I think Tesla's first goal here is to get this out to other factories, is to find ways to make money with it. I think that's the first thing. That's the first way. Now, once that's done, or once that's practically covered, the next phase is having them to be like your butler or your maid. Now, here's why it's important, why I mentioned this, because I didn't realize how important the bot could be ever since my parents got a maid. So here in Kuwait, you can get maids, right? You can get, I mean, the whole Gulf region, you can get maids, and a lot of Asian countries, you can get maids, and extremely cheap. They're very good. They clean for you, they cook for you, they do the laundry. You know, if you have a baby, they'll take care of the baby. And at first, I'm just like, no, I don't, we're not interested in that. But then it got to a point where like we needed help and stuff like that. So for my mom, so we got a maid, and oh my god, the amount of time that we have back is ridiculous, to the point that my mom's like, I don't know what to do anymore. I thought, because she would do the cooking, the cleaning, and everything, but now the maid does it, and my mom's just
mhm.
like, it's like noon. Usually I finish everything by 4, I have 4 hours or 5 hours. I don't know what to do. And so
Yep.
just imagine the amount of time you get back. And for me, that freed up a lot of my time. That
Mhm.
freed up a lot of my time. I can do more of this YouTube stuff. I can do more podcasts. I can do all these things. And then I realized, I'm like, wait a minute, the bot in the future will be able to do these things.
Yep.
And it's a no-brainer. People in the West, like for me, when I come to Toronto, I gotta do the cooking, I gotta do the cleaning, I gotta do the laundry. Oh, it takes a long time, and it feels weird to do that. I just imagine when I'm in Toronto or anyone in the West thinking that, man, imagine all this time that I can have back and do the things. And what I noticed then, it was a little light bulb in my mind, that I'm just like, Tesla is literally in the goal of giving back your time. Autonomous
Mhm.
driving, you have your time back while driving. Man, the amount of times that I'm going to work and I have a lot of things to do, like on my phone. I want to get productive. I just, it pisses me off a little bit. So, like, if I'm driving, I'm just like, man, I don't want to drive, man. But I need to get home. I need to get to work. But I have a lot of stuff there that I need to get done, and it's just such a waste of time. And now you add that with the bot. Oh my god,
Yeah, and also not
it's
only
crazy.
like basic boring stuff or being a maid and all that. The bot can be deployed and start selling as soon as it can do walking, carry your bag, and just be
Yes,
companion. just be a companion. You integrate Grok into it and say, "Hey man, how are you doing?" Just have you watched the movie Interstellar?
Yes, yes, yes,
Okay,
yes.
inside there's a task, which is like a funny bot, right? Imagine your funny bot who can talk with you, give you the latest update, information, news, and then all you have to do is like having a little fun with him, carry your bag, walk with you, sit with you, doing simple stuff. That market alone is already infinite. You haven't even talked about factory worker, domestic
Oh god.
servant, home taker. Like all that stuff is mind blowingly, but it's happening. So to me, it just the most important is accumulate share. Sorry, the most important is while the share is still cheap, while everybody's still trying to figure out if this is real or not. The most important thing is get enough share so you don't feel the regrets down the road.
Yeah, that's why 2 years ago, I would say that Tesla stock at 400 was overvalued, and I didn't buy at the 400s because I knew it was overvalued. But I started to buy under 300s because I thought it was fair. And anything under 200, I'm just like, give me as much as you can. Did dollar cost average heavily, and then when it went down big time, like to the 101s or the 140s,
Oh
dumped my whole entire savings into it.
yes.
But now I say that anything under 400 is I steal because it's like the stock has been flat for 3 years, 4 years now, but the company has 2x in revenue, 4x in vehicle sales, 3 times in energy. And
Hmm.
we're getting robotaxi launch this year. We're getting potentially a pre-order for cybercabs, and I think that's what's going to happen in 10 months' time, in my opinion. We're getting affordable models coming. Like,
Hmm.
oh, it's crazy. And energy is going to more than double. That's why I say under 400, it's a steal.
Yeah, I did the same thing when you go back to the 101, right? The worst case, the worst time, right?
Yeah, one on
Uh,
one.
but once it get down to 140, I start looking into can I refinance my house so I can get some home equity and selling one of the rental properties so I can accumulate more cash and just buy. Yeah, I mean, just that's how cheap it is. It's crazy.
When you know the story, when you know what you're investing in, and again, it goes back to conviction we talked about earlier in this video. When you know what you're investing in, when you see the future of this company, your favorite days are red days. That's just the best way I can put it. That's it. But one question for you, Joseph. Tips for new and current Tesla investors. What do you like? Because you've been in it for for a long time, and you're a long term investor, and you've been through the ups and downs, and you pretty much bet a lot. You're pretty much all in. What is your tip for new and current Tesla investors? Let's start off with the new investors.
You should not just care about the word Tesla, right? You have to understand behind the company name, what exactly why you're investing in it. I come up with 6 points. The first one is company
Ooh.
with consumer facing product and services with high perceived value because the company you invest in has to produce something, not speculatively, right? It must produce some goods or services. In Tesla case, it produced both with high perceived value. High perceived value simply means an iPhone you can maybe takes $250 to build, but it can sell for $1,000. High margin, right? Number two is software based, high revenue. After investing in so many companies all this year, I always go back to high margin, always usually coming from software based business. That's bullet number two. Number three is owner, finder, run company with a lot of skin in the game. In this case, Elon
Mhm.
or Jensen from Nvidia or Palantir Alex, right? So those are the three companies I mainly have my money in. Owner run company. Number four is huge TAM, a huge total addressable market. Tesla is in all those markets. Energy, car, autonomy, robot, AI. Number five, scalability. It has to be a scale to the whole world, not just like sell in US or sell in China, and sell around the world. Number six is moat, competitive advantages. In this case, pace of innovation, technological capability, and vertical integration. All these three are the most important thing to keep the moat unreachable by the second player and the third tier. So to me, those are the 6 bullets I want to share. And Tesla fit all of them.
That's a solid 6 points. And if you're a new investor or even current investors, you guys want to write these notes down for any investment that you want to put in, not just in Tesla. because these are some good questions to ask before, getting into some investments. That's actually really good. And well, this applies to current investors as well. But one tip that I do want to give to new investors is that the stock isn't going to 10x tomorrow. I'm sorry. I just have to say that for current
And no one
investors,
and no
yeah,
one should expect it will 10x in one day, because if it 10x in one day, it most likely will drop 90% in the day after. So
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. But if it does 10x, in Tesla's case, it takes, maybe looking at history, it takes about like 40 days for it to like 10x. Like, which is crazy to me because it stays flat for a long time and then it pops up. I don't think that's going to be the case once there's an EPS growth or robotaxi coming in. I don't think that will be the case. But for now, with all the speculation and all that kind of stuff, that's how it currently trades. Previously, for sure, but currently trades for now until we get the high EPS. That's how it trades. But 10xing tomorrow in just one day just doesn't make any sense. A good example is Nvidia. Nvidia did 10x. It did take about 2 months for it to 10x, but that's because they had crazy amount of cash flow and profits that nobody expected. Which, in my opinion, the same is going to happen with Tesla with their robo taxis. That's what I'm
well,
going to
yeah,
say.
Peggy, while we're talking about Nvidia, Nvidia, to me, the mode of Nvidia is market sensitivity. Do you know what
Mm.
I'm saying? So Nvidia has foresight into what's the next big things to come. They are heavily and tap into Stanford University and all the university at the very tip of the technological innovation. They know what the scientists and student postdoc are looking for before that is even a market for it.
Mm.
And that's why they can always jump ahead of the game and invest into like CUDA and the AI chip and like mining, like blockchain and all that stuff. Why they have all the foresight? Because they already working with the people who create that market to begin with. To me, Nvidia is another one that I'm paying attention to also. But I don't have as much high conviction compared to Tesla. That's just me.
Yeah, me too. Me too. With Nvidia, I'll be surprised. I mean, I was surprised to see Nvidia to go up the way it did. I knew it was a very good and strong company that will do good long term, but I never expected it to go or to see it 10x so soon, so fast. But they deserve it. They're positioned well, and if it wasn't for Nvidia, we wouldn't have that Austin. Tesla will not have that Austin class cluster in Texas that helped get version 13, which now FSC is being exponentially going crazy, going exponentially. So my hat's off to them, and they deserve with their valuation and with their growth. I do. But those tips that you mentioned were really good. What do you have for current investors, Tesla investors? Let's say these guys who've been invested in 2021, they bought the tip, they bought the top, and they've dollar cost average till now, and now they're seeing some light at the end of the tunnel. What is your tip for these guys, these current Tesla investors?
I would say really don't focus on share price, focus on share count. It's all about, how many shares you own of this wonderful company, right? Try to work hard, take an extra job, don't go on vacation, whatever it takes to save enough money, because it doesn't matter how big the company grows if you only put $100 into it, right? So you
Mm,
must have
true.
invest in a meaningful amount for that 10x to be impactful.
Yes.
So definitely focus on share count. I also do a little bit trading on the side, sell a little cover call, buy call, sell call, blah, 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 trying to add some more money on a monthly basis so I can buy more share. Ultimately, my whole point of doing all this maneuver is to buy more share. Always think about adding to the snowball
Oh
effect.
god.
When I was early in my 20s, my goal, I always go into Excel spreadsheet and start putting
Mm,
number and try to see the compound effect year one, year two, year three, and then gradually the
it's
number
crazy.
become crazy, right?
Yeah.
The compound effect. So to me, your investment become meaningful after about $1 million. The compound
Really
effect really, you know, kicks in after 1 million. So to me, the most important thing is how to get to 1 million, so that I can feel the compounding effect. So that's how I focus on the last 20 years. Just snowball.
nice.
If it's cheap,
Yeah.
buy. If expensive, try to stay on, try to hold on to it, and don't sell too soon. One of my mistakes is selling too soon on all the good
No.
company. I have sold like Facebook, Netflix, Amazon, and Google and Microsoft all
Oh,
sold too soon,
yeah.
right? I don't want to make the same mistake again.
Yeah. Yeah, especially with Tesla, that we know what's gonna happen in the next 5, 10 years and how much of a lead they have to everything. One thing that I do wanna add to your point about share accumulation, when I first started buying Tesla back in 2020, I had a goal of 100 shares.
Mm,
And when I hit 100 shares, I'm just like, "No, yeah, that's not enough. Let's increase it to," I think it was 300 or something. Then I got 300 shares, and I'm just like, "Ah, no, it's not enough." Then I increased my goal to 500 shares. And then 500 shares into 700 shares. And I remember I said, I'll get 750 shares or 700 shares and I'm going to stop buying. That's it. I need to save up for a house or something. Then I hit 700 shares and I'm just like, in order for me to make this much money, I need it for it to 15x. But if I buy this much more shares, 10x is enough. So I
exactly.
said 1,000 shares. So then I hit 1,000 shares recently and I'm sitting here and I'm like, it's not enough. Like, I'm just like, every time when I turn on X and I see this FSD videos doing crazy things, I'm like, I need more shares. I need more Tesla
Mhm.
shares. And I don't feel guilty buying Tesla. I actually feel safer buying Tesla. I feel like I'm buying my years back in my future. It's weird. It's really weird. I've never thought investing would be like this, but that's how I really feel when I buy Tesla. It wasn't like this when I was before going all in Tesla. I used to be diversified, and it would give me maybe a maximum return of 8% a year. Now it's giving me a much more return annually with Tesla. But I'd never thought that with one company, everyone's saying diversify, but with one company, I can sleep better at nights. I can live in peace and crave for more shares and be happy on red days. Like, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. So,
And also, as much as we think we look at Tesla on a daily basis already, like hours and hours spending researching the company, as much as like 20, 30 years experience investing company, I cannot devote more time than a few company, maybe two or three. After that, I'm kind of blur. I'm running out of energy to like look into other company already. So to me, my high conviction comes, I have the knowledge in the company, a lot of knowledge in the company. So I know how it perform on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, and on a grand scheme of 20, 30 years. What is the mission statement? What is the vision? Are they executing according to the vision? Yes. Then why am I investing in another company, right? Yeah,
yeah.
that's important to know what's the end game is. The end game is if you go back to as an investor, your end game is to understand how much money this company will generate in terms of dividend and
Mm,
return, the future
mhm.
value. So the best company, according to Warren Buffett, are the one you don't have to sell because they're going to pay out dividend and revenue accordingly. So I don't have an exit plan. To be honest, I don't have an exit plan.
So so you
The
think
exit plan is
Tesla will
don't sell.
yeah, wait, so you think Tesla's gonna pay dividends in the future eventually?
Uh, well, in the future, it will need to pay dividend in terms of dividend, or it will simply grow in stock appreciation because it's not paying dividend, right? So neither
Mm,
way, it will pay out as an investor by holding it long term. To me, I don't really care neither way, honestly, pay dividend or
yeah.
not. Of course, if the company continue to grow and have places to invest in, don't pay dividend. Keep on growing
Mm.
the ball.
I know buybacks for sure is gonna happen sometime in the future. I know, and Elon is pro that. He promotes to get buybacks.
Yeah,
Um,
Stern also talked about a buyback is a great thing to increase the value of the stock, which is perfect. Yeah,
yes,
buyback works.
exactly. And we have more shares of it.
Exactly right.
We have more shares of the company. That's sheesh. That's a sheesh moment. What is your long-term version for Tesla?
Long-term vision is, to be honest with you, I'm not so much a FSD person.
Oh
Um,
no.
I I believe they will make good money from FSD, but when you compare to the AGI bar, it's also irrelevant.
Yeah, yeah,
So to me,
that's true.
the thesis of me staying in Tesla is always about the robot, the AGI robot, the manufacturing excellency, and also the ability to scale the robot worldwide. So to me, that's the number one reason why we should be investing in Tesla. The
Yeah,
robot is the end game. The product that
End
end
game.
every other product.
Are you sure it's the end game? You sure Tesla or Elon's not gonna pull another rabbit out of the hat after the Tesla bot, knowing him?
Yes, but at the same time, robot is an important milestone to enable anything bigger than that because robot can build other stuff, autonomously. It doesn't have to be based on human power. The robot can do it. Yeah.
It's hard to see what's the next thing after that, but yeah, end game of the robots. I can see that. And I don't know if you've seen the latest interview with Elon saying that crazy. He just I can't wrap my head around it. He's talking about 1,000 bots in the factory this year, and then next year 50 to 100,000. And 10x that. And I'm just like, okay, first of all, these are Elon timelines. You have to
Hmm.
be cautious. But you know, the bot is more an easier problem to solve, in my opinion, than full self driving because
Absolutely.
full self driving has so many other elements compared to the bot. When he said that, I'm just like, that is just mind blowing. 50,000 to 100,000 bots next year. Let's see. That
Yeah.
was a crazy interview. That was a crazy guess prediction or something, but maybe a foreshadow. I don't know, but that's crazy. That's pretty exciting. Now I'm curious to know because you keep buying stock and you're still trying to find ways to accumulate. What excites you the most about Tesla? Like I know you said the bot, but like what's the core? What's the thing that makes you wake up in the morning and when you think about Tesla, that one thing excites you the most? For me, it's autonomous driving. That's the thing. The bot for me is still like not a gray area, but it's just like I can't comprehend it in my mind right now. But the autonomous is the thing that man, we're gonna see robot taxis, we're gonna see self driving, we don't have to drive anymore. It's gonna be an awesome future. What excites you the most?
Commercializing the board is really the number one thing. Right now, my number one worry is how soon Optimus can really do practical work in the real world, right?
Hmm.
So that comes down to how mature Grok gonna be able to integrate with the Optimus robot. How soon can it be done? Is it 2026, 2027, or 2028? At some point, they have to commercialize and start, making profit based on this product. So that's my number one thing I'm looking toward to is how mature, how soon it can the TTM, the time to market for Optimus robot. If there's any company who can do it, it's Tesla. And if there's a second company who can do it, it's probably one of those under Nvidia. So I have 90%, my confidence 90% in Tesla and 10% in Nvidia. So that's how I
Yeah,
cover my bases.
yeah. And when it comes to the bot, I believe Tesla is the most sophisticated. They are able to scale it compared to everybody else. The bot does excite me as well, but not as much as the autonomous driving at the moment, unless, and I do think we're going to get an autonomous day again sometime this year, showing off the
Mhm.
Gen 3 and some other thing. 100%. If they don't do it, I'll be a little bit upset. But I'm just going back to the interview, what he said earlier, just yesterday or the day before, saying that 50 to 100,000 bots ready. I think he said ready to be deployed to other factories,
Mhm.
which is to your point, to your excitement of commercial bots. Man,
And
this
also,
bots. Yeah.
in order for the bot to work, there's really three things we need to solve. I mean, Tesla need to solve. Be able to walk in uneven or even ground, right? Different terrain. The capability of the hands motion, who can actually do wheel maneuver wheel object. Number three is to be able to balance and not fall down and kill people. So once you solve these three items, you can deploy the bot already in some really simple factory. I think I post one video in one of the cheese factory where there's one guy. His job is just to put cheese from one place to another. Just put cheese. That's it. Grab
Oh,
and
that's
move. Grab and move. The most boring job on earth. The bot can replace that guy right away.
yeah, no questions. That's yeah. I've seen those factory videos where the only job they do is either pick whatever the item is and put it in the box or put it into another line. And I'm just like, well, that's pointless.
Hmm.
And what you're paying this guy what, like probably minimum wage to be honest, but still, like,
And also, you have to pay him what is it called, health benefit and all the insurance and all that stuff.
oh my god.
Cut that down. No, you don't need that from the bot.
Yeah. For me, of course, the bot for me has got a little bit excite. For me, the excitement has gone up a bit compared to last year. But I want to see an Optimus stake, seeing the Optimus Gen 3. There's a lot of new Tesla investors last year. They bought a lot of stock because they saw the robots.
Mm-hmm.
And now their whole conviction of Tesla is Tesla's gonna dominate the robot market.
Mm-hmm.
Like they completely flipped, and some of them were the biggest bears. I forgot their names, but I know Amit. Shout out to Amit. He was telling me about some of these as well. He's like, yeah, he had a friend that was like so bearish on Tesla, but as soon as he saw the robot, completely 180, and then just bought a lot of shares of stock just because of this, which is incredible. Which is
Right.
a sheesh moment, you know?
And I still believe that a majority of the bot is not pricing yet.
Yeah,
If you
hundred
talk to
percent.
people, even
Yeah.
people, in Silicon Valley or South Cal where I live, you talk to any regular people, nobody even think about the bot as a real thing. They don't even think about the bot is there. They're not
Yeah.
aware of it. For those who are aware of it, like, nah, it's going to be 10, 20 years down the road. You don't have to
Mm-mm.
worry about it. It's not going to replace a job. Or AI, just, LLM, just like a better search. It's not going to impact their life. That's how they think. And this is why we have the advantage. We know this advantage information, and we can put our money where we believe way
Yeah.
before everyone else.
Yeah. And the Adam, have you seen Adam Jonas? His valuation for the bot all the way to 2040 or 485. Have you
Yeah,
seen that? So
yeah.
that means that he thinks that Tesla, once this bot is out, he thinks that the bot sector of Tesla is already worth 485 bucks per share. So if you
Mm-hmm.
slap on the current market share right now, that's essentially $1,000, nearly a
Thousand
thousand
dollars.
bucks per share,
Mm-hmm.
which is incredible. Which, man, like if Tesla, I don't think this is going to happen, but if Tesla goes this year, says pre-orders, you're optimist right now, which I don't think they will, but if they do, stock's going to go 1,000 and beyond, in my opinion. It's
If they start pre-ordering the bot, $1,000 will not be out of the question. I mean, think
oh
about
yeah,
it. How many they will sell? How many people will order? Every single one will be sold out, right? That's just
yeah,
common sense. I'll buy
yeah.
10.
You'll buy 10. Oh.
I'll buy 10 and start giving out to my family and friends just for the fun of it. Because imagine the first generation of the robot. It has investment value. It's not a depreciate because it's the first generation robot of the humankind. It's gonna
Hmm.
be like a collector's item. I always think in terms of collector value.
Collectors.
It's a
Wow.
collector's value.
Sheesh, no, that's cool. No, that's cool. This is awesome. This is awesome. Wow. Sheesh. So wow, over an hour of talk, which I was guessing that's what that was going to happen because Tesla investors, when we sit down and talk, we just ramble on and on. It's crazy. So before we close this out, Joseph, is there anything you want to say to the lovely viewers?
I always keep several point in closing. If you have high conviction in your belief, you must bet big. Otherwise, it's not going to make an impactful return for your conviction. I don't want to feel regrets knowing that I have the opportunity to invest in, but just because I chicken out or whatever reason, don't do it. Don't believe in things you don't fully understand. Do your own research. It's important to have a big picture in mind, knowing how much worst case you will lose and the best case how much you will gain. Have that picture in mind. Always try to understand where the liquidity is going. Is it going to real estate? Is it going to stock market, bonds, cash? Is there any black swan event in front of you? Try to avoid those things. Have a strong intuition. But intuition really comes down to experience, and experience comes down to enduring pain. So don't be concerned about going through the painful period because those are the period that build the toughest skin. And once you have the toughest skin, you can overcome the fear and ride through the storm much easier down the road. And also, don't be stubborn. If your investing theory is wrong or the situation change, you must adapt to the new situation. Don't be stubborn and stuck in a hole. You must open your eyes and see how things are moving around you. One important point and last point, Dave Lee mentioned investment, and it's not a if else condition statement. Investing is a system level, integrated system level thinking, because one thing not only lead to another, one thing can lead to another, another thing lead back to another, another thing lead to another. It's a whole system thinking you must apply when it comes to investing, and that's all I have.
Wow. No, that's really good stuff. What a close. Wow. That's some good stuff. Wow. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Joseph, for giving out awesome value, telling us your story, giving us some good tips. Of course, your 2030 stock price and what you look for in the long term for Tesla. I think this will be valuable for the Tesla community and for the viewers as well. And for anyone who wants to follow, and I do recommend you guys to follow Joseph on X and YouTube. Link is in the description. I'm a follower, so you guys should too. Thanks a lot, Joseph, for coming on. This was an awesome podcast, and I am very sure that people who do watch this podcast learned a lot. Learned a lot
Same here.
from everything that you've said. So thank you so
When we
much
have
for
time, we
coming.
can do it again.
Yeah.
In the future.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. More of these in the future, 100%. Thank you so much, and we shall see you guys in the next video. See ya.
See you later.